Okay? So now they made the school a police station, police on the roof. The schoolyard is now the police station with all the cop cars back.
Are we talking? We're still talking to junior high school?
271 Ocean Hill-Brownsville. Yes, John
Wow.
M. Cole.
Okay, go ahead.
This is what's going on. So now, once the Board of Ed decided that they were not going to allow this to continue, now it's war, because the community said, "Look, you gave us this power. We took it. We made sure we looked at everything. We looked everything over, and we saw areas that needed improvement. So therefore, we made the improvement. And one of the improvements they made from the top was the principal. And the principal who they brought in and now they hired was Al Van. And of course, Al Van had created the African American Teachers Association, which was an organization for the black teachers. Okay. So now, as war's going on, the front is blocked by the community. No children come in. You're getting your education. And by the way, when this change happened, students were in classes. They were getting education. They added some African history to the program, African dance to the program. I mean, students were really happy with the changes and the kind of education that they were getting, which, was great. So, war was going on. They still fighting the community. Now the Board of Ed is like, no, you can't continue on. And we're like, hey, you gave us the power. We got it, and we're going to keep moving on. And so any day the kids are coming to school, you got all the cops out there blocking the stairway, and all the teachers are saying, come in, children. Your education is going on. Come on in. And the kids are coming in to school, and the teachers union is out there demonstrating, trying to prevent other teachers from not coming to school. But I must say, what was great about those teachers is that it was a wide variety of teachers. You had white teachers, you had black teachers, all of them who made that commitment to educate children at that school stayed and made sure they were going to educate those students. Other teachers went to the picket line because they didn't like what was happening. They didn't like the community having to say so in their children's education. So now what happens is we get word that a teacher's coming who was I got to get it straight, is it 58 or 30? I think it's 35, junior high school 35, whose name was Les Campbell, who today's name is G2 Weusi, was kicked out and transferred from that school to junior high school 271 in Ocean Hill-Brownsville because he took some kids to a Malcolm X memorial with the parents' permission. So now he comes to the school. And of course, we know who he is, and we're welcoming him. Hey, come on. And his major was history. So we know we're going to get some good black history now with, Mr. Les Campbell. So the demonstrations are continuing. We're marching to school, and the teachers union is out there demonstrating on the news every day saying, we can't let this happen because if we let this happen, it's going to happen all over the city and so on and so and so. So that continued. The war went on, as I call it, the war. So what happened now is that G2 Weusi, Les Campbell, said, look, with all of this going on, with all this going on, before I get to that, though, let me say that now we know we're going on to high school. So G2 Weusi he knew that for any change to take place in our community, young people must be involved. And he had the insight to know that young people was very important for them to be involved in any change that's going to happen in the community. So he created the African American Students Association. Wow. So now we are organizing ourselves in high school. And we organized ourselves in high school to see what we could do in high school to better our education. So now we organized ourselves to the point where we had a chapter in every high school in New York City. And if you were protesting in your school for different issues of wanting Black history or different things that you wanted in your school, many of the high schools would terminate you, put you out of school. So with us being so organized, with having a chapter in every high school in New York City, and this was happening in many of the schools because all of the students were demonstrating and protesting.
Okay.
At that time, Mayor Lindsay was the mayor, and he said,
Right.
he said, you be hard on these young students. So now people are getting arrested every day. We're going to court. And also I want to say that we also hooked up with a white student organization called the Student Union. And we all worked together, and we worked together to be at Rockets Island and all these places to bail these students out of school, out of jail, because they were arresting students every day. And what we would do,
talking about they were arresting junior high school students and high school students.
Yes. Well, we're moving on to high school now. Now we're we're in the high school now. So now we're organizing and we're protesting about things changes we want in the school.
Right.
And so now what they're doing is if they see any student that's organizing and was part of, ASA, or African American Student Association, or the Student Union, they was putting them out of school. They were terminating you. So now what we would do, we were so organized that we would have a meeting and say, okay, who's been terminated today? You mean to tell me that Niambe was terminated from Wingate? Okay, well, tomorrow we're going to take Franklin K. Lane down there and reinstate her.
Mm-hmm.
So we would take a whole high school, okay, down to another school. Thousands of students they see coming. And, of course, once they saw that and they had a meeting, they put you back in school, okay? So now we're realizing G2, with the insight and that he had to know what was going on, said, we think it's time for us to get our own. And, of course, all of our meetings, ASA meetings, were held up at Clausen and Fulton, up at ATA's office, Albert Van's office of the African American Teachers Association, and that's where we would, do our flyers, hold our meetings. Each school would gather, have a meeting, then we would have our big meetings of all the schools together there until we said we need our own. So now G2 Weusi found a way that a building on 10 Claver Place was existing where some artists were doing graphic arts there. And he happened to connect with the owners of the building, and we were able to purchase that building. And that's how the East came into being, on 10 Claver Place.
10 Claver Place. All right, famous for this arts and culture, jazz and
getting the
activism.
building, we knew that, number one, we wanted to create our own school. So that's how, of course, the Huru Sasa, which means Freedom Now, was created, the school. And then one of the other features we had was Top Jazz on the weekends,
Right.
And people start coming from all over the country because the word was spreading. You have to go see what these young people are doing in Brooklyn down there on Claver Place. I mean, all over Detroit, Chicago, all the cities, it went out like wildfire, and also to all the musicians. And so on the weekends when we started, Leon Thomas, by the way, opened up the East music on the weekend. He was the one that started the first music program we had on the weekend. And it was really something because it was called a Bembe. If you know any of these big dancing festivals that a lot of the drummers and dancers in the Yoruba religion have, they call it a Bembe. And that's what we had because when it started that night, you had to move all the tables and chairs out the way because people were up dancing,
Okay.
So that's how the music aspect started. But